How's it going, everybody? How's the fragrance world? How's the fragrance life going for you? I know that I need to schedule these out. I'll try to do that. Y'all know it better in the future. But how y'all doing this beautiful day? How's the fragrance life been going for y'all? Anything new? Anything interesting? Wanted to see if anybody wanted to pop in. I know that Smurfy Girly was on earlier. I don't know if she's still doing her live. If anybody else is doing a live, I definitely have no intention of being intrusive. Not at all. So, well, this week has been kind of interesting for me. It's been super, super hot and fun with all kinds of fragrances. I bought more fragrances than I should have. Y'all know how it is. I tend to say I'm not going to buy fragrances, but then I end up holding off for a couple weeks or a month, and then I do buy some more fragrances. So, backyard bin, how are things? I've heard some people tell me that that's how they remember me as backyard guy, backyard bin, background fragrance. Maybe I should change my my channel's fragrance name to something like outside fragrance or something. Anyways, it's going pretty good. Today was again a very very hot day. I tried to take it easy, did some grocery shopping, grabbed some donuts in the morning. I don't do that very often, but it's a guilty pleasure. And no, I don't go for Krispy Kreme. I go for Shipley's if y'all know what that is. X Mr. Davids 4. Hey, how you doing? Happy to see y'all pop in. Y'all having a good weekend? I need to grab a snack later, but I'm doing pretty good. I should grab a beverage when I come out here, but it's going pretty good overall. Been getting myself into too many fragrances, but it's always fun to try new things and new samples. And I had a few things come in today. I had a brand called Unique E, I believe it is, and I'm wearing one of their fragrances called Gold right now. I haven't put out my review. I haven't even told y'all until now that I just got those in the mail today. But it's not great, but it's not terrible. I really I don't know. I don't think that it's great, but X Mr. Davis 4 says I got a bunch of Rogue the perfumery line. They use real oak moss and other notes. Absolutely. I have mentioned them a time or two. Which one is your favorite? A lot of people like the Limus. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. That one that starts with like IL like but anyways, my favorite is Devish or Devosh. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. Devonish, but it's really charming. It has a really nice, smooth little amber quality to it to me. But again, pretty good fragrances. Rogue Perfumery doing a pretty good job over there. It's so hot here from Nola. Yep, it's definitely been pretty hot. It's kicking up. We're definitely into the summer months. We're definitely into the heat. And are you have y'all been enjoying your summer fragrances, or do y'all wear fragrances that are more fresh in the summer, or do you just wear what you want? I know a lot of people when they work in air conditioned environments, they live in air conditioned environments. Maybe they don't wear things too seasonally, but when you go outside, if you go to the beach, if you go to the park, I mean, I still think that wearing a fresh fragrance is always a good idea. Yes, Devish smells like Naxos vibes to me, very good. I could see where it could have a little bit of those that the similar feeling. Yeah, for sure. Different notes, but similar feeling. Yeah, that Dervish or Devish is definitely my favorite for sure from them. Eric S says I wear Aqua de Gio in the summer. Still a great fragrance. Stood the test of time. A true classic. These days, I kind of prefer the Versace Pour Homme, but I mean, you can't go wrong with Aqua de Gio. I mean, it has been reformulated. I wish it lasted longer, but still a solid fragrance. Solid fragrance. For me personally, I've started to try to get into more citrus fragrances. I have a hard time because I like the masculine citruses, but sometimes they make them too spicy, and I do find that bitter spices and herbal qualities and notes can be sometimes they can be interesting, sometimes they can be very very well done and beautiful, but sometimes it's just hard for that kind of quality to be done in a really fantastic way. So I guess I'm just so picky. I have my first Aqua de Parma on the way. I think a fragrance that kind of captures a little bit of that fresh, like green quality, but yet it's aromatic and still fresh and almost citrusy, and yet also has the tantalizing, sensual, animalic vibe. is Ember del Sur by Carna Barcelona. That's one of my favorites. I love to pull it out in the summer mornings or summer nights sometimes. Let's see. I wore Versace Pour Homme today. It sort of smells like Chanel Allure Homme Sport Extreme. Yes, you're exactly right, Michael. Those are often compared to each other, infamously. But the Chanel Allure Homme Sport Extreme is a little bit more creamy. It's a little bit more sweet and rich. While the Versace Pour Homme tries to be a little bit more Italian and citrus focused. Both are great fragrances in their own right. Both are very versatile. Both are big compliment getters. I think you could own both without being redundant. I personally prefer the Versace Pour Homme, especially for the price. But a lot of people like this Chanel Allure Homme Sport Extreme, and there's nothing wrong with it. And it actually is a huge compliment getter. It's just not my It's not my personality. It's just not my personal favorite. But it is a solid fragrance. The Chanel Homme Allure Sport O Extreme. So I just wanted to put that out there. If y'all ever curious why I don't mention that fragrance, and it does get a lot of talk, I mean, it's been fairly consistently kind of highly talked and sometimes even hyped for a reason. It's just not my thing. So, have you gotten your nose on how do you say it, Moschino Toy Boy yet? No, I have not. I'd have to buy a sample or blind buy the fragrance. I might get a sample one of these days, but I don't know. I'm not crazy about getting into it, but if I had a lot more money or coming in just to play with, I might blind buy it just to review it for y'all. If I ever stick to fragrance reviewing, and if I ever get that big, I mean I'd buy it just for the heck of it. But I tend to I do review things for y'all, and I do try to put things sometimes in lists and in formats that make sense. But am a fragrance reviewer who tries to focus a little bit on my own individual fragrance journey. But again, I respect the bigger fragrance reviewers. Of course, they've gotten to the point where they can easily focus on making lists for people and helping them. They have such a big collection; they can make a top 10 list with all kinds, with almost everything that you can imagine, and make put together content that makes sense and helps people out that way. I have bought some fragrances just to review for y'all. Guess 1981 Indigo was one of them. Bentley in the past, Bentley Man Intense was one of them. But I try to really stick to what I'm interested in and what I really care about. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get my nose on it. I do have to say, from what it looks like to me, and this is just an assumption. Again, it's a complete assumption because I haven't smelled the Moschino's Toy Boy. But I'm assuming that for the money, it probably would be better that people go for Cedroc Boise by Mansara. That's probably what I'm going to guess. It's probably what I think is going to happen, in my opinion. I'm overspraying cheap freshies to finish the bottles. The collection is too big. I feel you there. How do you say your name there? Sajak Devry. Yeah, it's for me. I like a collection that's manageable. Maybe one of these days I'll get over 100, but I don't really want to get over 100. To me, it's a lot of stress. You have to organize, you have to manage them, and then you have lots of choices. You can sit there and think about like people joke about ladies do. Sit there and like wear different pairs of clothes and not know what to wear in the morning. You can kind of get that way with fragrances. So I don't want to go there. And if it's collecting dust, you know, it's out of my collection. That's how I feel about it. And honestly, you know, there's a lot of sprays in a full size 3.4 ounce bottle. There's a lot of sprays. So, if you have 50 bottles and if you wear those bottles religiously, 50 bottles might last you, forever. So if you have 100 over 100, you're definitely set. You probably, probably are not going to be able to wear all those fragrances in your, in a lifetime. So, scent of the day. Let me get back. I bought a decant of Michael Goad says, "Yep," and he says, "I bought a decant of Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Man, it's so weak." Yeah, I've heard that it doesn't project very well. Does it last decently? I have smelled it. I did try it at the mall, but I didn't really test it for performance. I don't think I've reviewed that one, and I don't think I've reviewed the EDP or the Parfum of the Sauvage either. I mean those fragrances are good, but a lot of other guys get into those fragrances, and I guess I kind of leave it to them. But maybe if I get bigger again, maybe I'll go and dive into a little bit more of the niche scents. I'm at the really popular big designer releases like that. So scent of the day is Mugler's cologne. Fantastic choice, smelling fresh and clean, squeaky clean over there, Randy. Michael Goad says, I'd rather stick with the Blue de Chanel EDP. Yeah, the EDP to me was the best. I do remember smelling those. Some people seem to really like the EDT. I don't. Maybe I'm just uber picky because I've smelled lots of niche. But the opening to the EDT of the Blue de Chanel, I didn't think it smelled of that great quality, and I definitely thought the Parfum was the smoothest and the most well-rounded, and certainly has a little bit of a better vibe, at least to me. Uh, I don't know. I'm with you there. Ex Mr. Davis says Aramis Tobacco Reserve is so good. I can't believe there is no hype around this masculine gem. Very good, underrated, and slept on. Yes, it is a really good fragrance. I've mentioned it a time or two. I haven't blind bought it, but it is a good, solid fragrance for the money. Aramis Tobacco Reserve certainly is a good one for the price. And I don't know how available it is, but at one point you could find it for 30, 35 odd dollars. I don't know if it's still available. I don't remember, but if you're a tobacco lover, that certainly is worth your time. J Pur by Boucheron, another great fragrance that's highly underrated. And Yatagan or Yatagan, I think it's by Coron, is also highly underrated. And if you like things like Davidoff's Cool Water, you probably need to check out Cerruti 1881 as well. There's a lot of good scents out there. It's hard to keep track of all these beautiful scents. There's hundreds, there's thousands. It says you're right. Cedroc Boise, good match between quality and price. Plus, it's just nice. Yeah, a lot of people, but I guess there's always that people want to be rebellious. People want to be different. If something's uberly popular, you might want to be rebellious. I felt that way about Cedroc Boise. I might not personally buy and wear Cedroc Boise, but I do recognize that it's a big compliment getter. It is a little bit linear. It's not terribly interesting if you like complex, different fragrances, but it works and it lasts and it projects and it smells good, and that's what a lot of people care about. A lot of people just want to smell good, and Cedroc Boise always does a good job. So I'd love to try that Mancera Cedroc Boise. Yeah, I definitely would give that a try. If you like black currant, if you like something that smells almost like blackberries, it has. If you like that sweetness of, if you smell Jubilation 25, it also has that black currant vibe in the top, but it kind of evolves and it changes, and that sweetness becomes more of a back player, and really isn't too noticeable in the dry down. If you like that really sweet, rich, and you want that richness to that black currant, I mean that fragrance does it really well. About the only other fragrance that I've smelled that comes is perhaps even better, or comes close, is the Vagabond Prince, is Enchanted Forest. That one certainly has a beautiful black currant, very jammy, sweet kind of quality about it. Let's see here. Moschino, to me, is a sweet rose heavy. The Toy Boy, you feel it's pretty rose heavy. If it's super uber sweet with black currant and a lot of rose, I mean, it might be fun to try, but that certainly doesn't feel. Well, it doesn't feel up my alley. Sound like it's up my alley. Mr. Davis says, "Thank you, Randy. Yes, it's travesty. How bad Aramis Tobacco Reserve is slept on. Yes, if you like tobacco, fantastic. I tend to lean more towards the Bulgari Man in Black, but that Tobacco Reserve definitely is a solid fragrance for sure." So Jack says, "I'm finishing bottles in a week. It's an emergency." Are you running out of space out of your home? Is your kitchen cupboards full of fragrances? You can't sleep because your whole room and your bed's full of fragrance? Definitely be careful, guys. There's a fellow fragrance reviewer. I won't say who he is, and more power to him and respect to him. And for what he's got going on in his life, he's having a lot of success. But he's like, I don't think he's making an extension to his house or anything that crazy. But he's like, he's already organized and bought tons of shelving and organized his room, a room dedicated to fragrance reviewing. But he's like renovating the room and buying extra shelving. So if you have to buy extra shelving for more fragrances or make an extension or dedicate a room to fragrances, I don't know. I don't want to say it's excessive. Maybe you know it's your hobby. I mean, go for it. But I don't know for me. I like fragrance. I like smelling new things. But I don't need that many bottles. I don't need to own them. So uh, I get we're all different though. Let's see. I've never really tried Blue Day Chanel EDT. I think it'd be good to try. I think it'd be good to give it a try. It's where all these blue fragrances started. It's where the craze started. It's the one that started Sauvage. It's the one that started Product Carbon. It's the one that started Dylan Blue, and eventually even trickled down to Rojas Elysium, and all these other flankers and clones and things. It's really the fragrance that started all. It's good, but I do prefer the EDP version of Bleu de Chanel over the Parfum and over the EDT. I think the EDP is where it's at least for me. But again, for the price, it does smell classy and it does smell good. But it's one of those fragrances, in my opinion, for a guy who maybe isn't doesn't want a lot of fragrances, maybe like 10 bottles or less, and he wants a signature scent, and he wants something that's super, super reliable, super inoffensive, and knows that ladies are fairly likely to love it. It might not be super attractive, but it's definitely going to do the job every time. So, yeah, Blue de Chanel, not bad fragrances, but what scares me away is just the price. They're expensive and they never really get discounted extra. They never go super cheap at least. So yes, I've been looking at Cerruti 1881 line. I feel those are right up my alley. Yeah, if you like that slightly fresh fougere kind of quality, but it's like fresher, and it does have retains a little bit of that oak moss feel. It's those fragrances are quite well done. If you like a Hubigant, a Fougere Royale, but you want something also that's more wearable for everyday situations, or maybe you can't find that one for a decent price, the Hubigant's Fougere Royale, the Cerruti 1881 is not bad. It's not bad at all. Let's see here. Can we get more likes to the stream? 3 likes with 7 in the live. Hey, I mean, I've mentioned it sometimes. I don't mention it every live about the likes. Some people think it's petty to ask for likes, and in my videos at the end, I kind of switch things up. I don't know how I feel about it, but at the beginning of my videos, I used to say like if I've earned your subscription, if you find that you like the content, please like, comment, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. And some people feel like that's terrible, but if you're on YouTube, I mean, you have to play the game. You have to work with the system at least a little bit. And if you don't do that, your favorite fragrance reviewers are going to stay at like 200 subs, and they're not going to grow. And I mean, go. I mean, sure, you can fight against YouTube or you can complain against them, but they do have a system set in place. And if you don't help your fragrance reviewers you like, you know, I'm not saying that you have to get likes or you have to get support to keep going, but certainly is a motivating factor to see that you're growing and that more and more people are finding you. If you put out a lot of work like I do, and y'all know that I have a passion. If I was just motivated for the likes and the views, I would have quit a long time ago because I put out plenty of videos for y'all, like a video every day. And if I review indie or like niche fragrances that nobody knows about, sometimes I get like 50 views on just a video. And, there's people who started like 3 months ago or 6 months ago, and they're already at like five. Some of them are even at 10,000 subs because they just do big top 10 list and they know how to use tags and they have really good lighting. And some of them are ladies, and they've got that charm going on. The ladies. So I'm just over here doing my thing, man. If y'all want to support me, I definitely appreciate it. But I would like to get more eyes on me, but what can I do? What can I do? Besides maybe some editing, let me know how I can improve, what y'all want to see. I do try to be energetic. I do think I'm pretty informative. I mean, I think I'm one of the most helpful people out there in the fragrance community. But, I mean, hey, Maybe I do something wrong. Maybe I speak funny. Maybe I don't laugh enough. Maybe I don't look into the camera straight enough. I don't know. But who knows what's going on? I just ordered 3.4 of Prada Carbon. Prada Carbon is solid. It feels a little bit lighter and perhaps a little bit more transparent, but the longevity is not terrible. But it does feel a little bit lighter. So maybe you thought that Dior Sauvage um, was felt a little bit heavy, and you wanted something a little bit more inoffensive. Perhaps I think that Prada Carbon does serve a purpose. It's quite good for that kind of thing. It's kind of funny that Roja kind of went for that similar kind of vein of things. I felt like Elysium, and some people in the fragrance community disagreed with me, and they sometimes fragrance reviewers throw shade or disagree with each other indirectly through videos, and a couple fragrance reviewers disagreed with me, but Elysium feels like a little bit of a pineapple top, kind of trying to capture a little bit of that Aventus feel. And then in the dry down, it smells like Blue de Chanel. That's definitely what smells like to me. To me, it's unmistakable. That's definitely what's going on. And hey, Rojas had success and it works for them, but I'm not going to give them any kudos. A lot of their fragrances are not very original, and there was a lot of talk and a lot of hype about calling brands out for being clones. Yeah, you could call Roja for some of their fragrances. I don't want to say all of them. They do have some really, really high end fragrances that are their own creations, but a lot of their fragrances, the more affordable fragrances that they have, they're not very original, at least in my opinion. I'd love to see somebody else's opinions on that if you smelled a number of Rojas or not, but that's one reason. I'm not crazy about the smells a lot of the time, but that's also a reason why I don't talk about or talk up Roja. There's a lot of good niche brands to look into. Carnar Barcelona, Nichane. I need to explore more Xerjoff, but I mean Xerjoff seems pretty darn good. Ormond Jane, solid house. Ormond Jane is great, and there's a lot of good houses out there. Perfumum Roma knocks it out of the park. They're great. Ex Nihilo for the people who like more inoffensive fragrances. They got some pretty good stuff going on over there, and I like how the brand looks over there with Ex Nihilo. So let me see here. You first display a few bottles on the shelf, then the bottles keep moving closer and closer until there's no room left. They're coming for you, man. In your dreams, your fragrances are gonna come for you. They're gonna fly off the shelves, man. I'm just joking. No, that's funny. Getting claustrophobic, huh? Surrounded by fragrances, they're everywhere. Mr. Davis says, I don't know why, but your older videos are super fun to watch. Did something change, or are my older videos what has changed? What's different about it? I know that my personality has changed. We're all individuals. We're all different. We're gonna change our styles. I've started. I speak. I think my mind is faster, and I definitely can communicate. I think a lot better than I could in my older videos. I think my older videos were a little bit more simple, and I definitely took things a little bit more easy. Maybe people don't like that because I do try to talk about fragrances so fast, and I'm so passionate about them. But maybe y'all like me being a little bit more calm about things. But I try to show a little bit of my enthusiasm at least. Let's see here, Prada Carbon is like a modern version of Dracar Noir. It's good. Okay, I could see where the composition and how the fragrance feels perhaps is similar to Dracar Noir. It's a definitely different smell, but I think that's what you meant, though. I'm sure you know. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Hey, John Massey's in the house. Hey, everybody. Hey, how you doing? Did I see somebody else pop in earlier? Was it? I always Fragrance Journey pops in and says hello and then goes away. I always worry that I miss his comment. But hey there, John Massey. How you doing? Happy to see you, my friend. How's the fragrance life? What's your scent of the day, everybody? How did you sample Profumum Roma? I mean, there's Lucky Scent. They're not cheap, but I'm trying to get to the point where I feel comfortable financially to be able to afford those kinds of fragrances. I'm at this point, especially for building up my collection. I'm still kind of messing with the designers, and I'm still kind of messing with The fragrances that just work for the price. And all those niche fragrances are a luxury. You don't have to have them, and you can get by and smell great without those fragrances. But it certainly is nice to have something really super high quality and something really luxurious. And I will try, hopefully in the future, once I get my finances better, definitely dive more into that world. I have gotten a lot of samples and tried a lot of fragrances, but I only own, I think, like what, eight, nine, maybe 10 fragrances that could be considered niche. Centurion says, "Hey Ben, hey, how you doing, my friend? Happy to see you pop in. How's the fragrance life? How's the fragrance world going for you? Have you bought any new fragrances? Anything new to share with us? You'll be excited to see the Aqua de Parma I have on the way. I don't want to spoil which one it is, but you'll probably be really happy about it, Centurion. And you're good. You like those good gentleman fragrances like I do. It'll be fun to talk about that one. Abraham Johnson says, "Scent of the day is Tom Ford Santal Blush." Now that's a fragrance. Oddly, for some reason, I've always wanted to try. I have not tried Santal Blush, I think it's marketed towards women or suggested to women. But again, wear what you want. If you like it, of course, wear it. But for some reason, I've seen a lot of people say it doesn't have good longevity or it's not terribly exciting. But Santal Blush for some reason has always looked a little bit interesting to me. John Massey says, "Thanks, bud. Not wearing anything today, but I got my eye on a few things. Versace Pour Homme Mano Fresh and Dior Homme Parfum. The great fragrances. The Eau Fresh is solid. Everybody in the fragrance community probably knows about the Versace Man Eau Fresh. It's it's really really good. Can't It's really hard to beat, and it's just solid. I mean, of course, we wish a lot of fragrances lasted a little bit longer, but what can I say? What can we do? It's a solid scent. Dior Homme Parfum, and more. That's those are very different fragrances. I'm interested to see which one you're going to pick because those are very different scents. Abraham Johnson says, where you want when you want exactly. Don't limit yourself. But I do like to suggest the summer citrus fragrances. And for some reason, when I don't hear other fragrance when other fragrance reviewers don't talk about these kinds of things, I wonder if other people who are into fragrances know. And maybe I'm just being redundant or I'm being ridiculous, but I feel like sorry, my voice is going. But I feel like maybe people who are first getting into fragrances don't know that citrus fragrances do tend to work it better in the summer, and it's not only because of the if it's a more simple fragrance, the heat doesn't mess it up. If you wear overtly complex fragrance, the summer heat can kind of mess it up, and the fragrance might not develop on your skin like it's supposed to. But if it's a fragrance also that's a little bit more appropriate for the people around you, because it's not going to choke people out, because the heat makes the fragrance, it's not going to last as long on you because of the high heat, but it's going to project a lot more off your skin. So that's one reason I just talk about, mention those kinds of things. I never want people to feel like they're limited, or I would limit them. Of course, wear what you want when you want. That's definitely what I'm all about. Wear what you love is definitely my motto. So, any new fragrances? Have y'all been getting into anything new? I hear if you spray ISO E Super over a citrus scent, it helps project more. Yeah, ISO E Super is an aroma chemical that's very mass appealing. It's actually in a lot of fragrances. It's hidden in those fragrances, and supposedly some people can't smell it at all. But ISO E Super smells pretty good to most people. And it smells kind of grassy and kind of clean. And yeah, you would help any fragrance last longer. ISO E Super, for some reason, it doesn't project terribly well off of me, but it does last a good long while. So if you want to bump up the longevity on your fragrance a little bit, yeah, spraying ISO E Super will definitely help. So, and you can go for like eccentric molecules, but those are usually terribly expensive. So, what's up, Ben? How you doing? Hey there, Anthony. How's the fragrance life going for you, my friend? Happy to see you, my friend. What's going on in your life? How's the fragrance life going for you? Gotten yourself into any new trouble? Centurion says, "I just ordered Tio Cabanel. How do you say that? Alhine? Alpine. I have looked at that brand. They have what that Cafe Cabanel, the cafe one. That's their gourmand, and I really want to try that fragrance. I've had my eye on it for quite a while. It looks absolutely fantastic, and I do want to dive into that house. You gotta let me know if that fragrance is good, because if it's really good, I might have to blind buy a bunch of samples, or hopefully they do have a discovery set available. There's a lot of brands to try, and that one certainly has been on my radar for a while. I usually find them and I make a list and I put things on the back burner, but it definitely looks like a good house for sure. I've only heard good positive things about them, so they must be doing something right. Sajak says, "Have you seen the new Kid Joshua Smells Fragrance? It's hilarious. I'll have to check him out. I don't think I've seen him." And there's a lot of new fragrance reviewers that pop up. I try to stay up to date with everybody. I haven't done a big shout out video in a while, but maybe I'll put that one together. You know, when I do one of those videos, it takes me sometimes 3 or 4 hours of editing. It takes me a long while because I try to put their picture up there. I link them in the bio, and it just takes forever with my internet and my computer. Joshua Smells Fragrance. He's like 11 years old. It's not the same guy who's the like My Dad Smells channel, is it? I think if it's that different guy, I might have seen his channel. It's been a little while. Is he still uploading? There was a younger guy, and I did give him a shout out on one of those videos at one point, I think. But I don't know. Maybe another one popped out, or popped into the fragrance world recently. Anthony says just ordered a bottle of Land of Warriors by the Vagabond Prince. Sexy smooth leather and pomegranate. That sounds nice. I'll have to give that one a go. That one looks really interesting. There's Mongolians or Indians or something, on that on the bottle, and it looks really really nice. I want to try it. I have tried, Enchanted Forest, but I want to try the other ones. I've heard that what was that other one called, like Purple Swan or something like that, wasn't too exciting to them. And the base note was it's not base notes. What is it called? It's like something base. It's a woody fragrance with supposedly some boozy notes. That one looks good. There's a lot of hype going about the Vagabond Prince. It got everybody talking about them because for about 5 days through Fragrantica, there was a special sale where you could get a bottle of their fragrance for about $100 flat. So they were kind of having a super good sale. So everybody seems to be really hyped and talking and reviewing those fragrances. I was pretty tempted to buy the base one, the base notes or the base accords or whatever it's called, but I ended up not buying it. I'm funny. I'm on my own fragrance journey, and I definitely pick my own path. So it'd be fun to. I want to try it one of these days. Let's see here. I have a fragrance review channel called Incense, but it has no content yet. We'll do around at some point. We'll pop in, message me on Instagram or my Facebook Messenger, or email me or something, and I'll try to give you a shout out on my Facebook. And whenever I get around to doing that shout out video, I'd love to have you included. You know, there's a bunch of great people popping up, and some of them are doing very, very well, and some of them are just having fun. I'm sure that y'all know Lucas Poe. He's a pretty cool guy. There's a bunch of cool cats around doing pretty darn good jobs, around here. The other two are Bass Solo. That's the one I was thinking of, Bass Solo. And I said Purple Princess instead of Swan Princess. I don't know where I got that purple in my head. I was like, Purple Swan, Purple Princess. Anyways, Bass Solo. That's the one I had my eye on. That one looked really interesting. I want to try it. But I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll get a sample or a decant. Who knows? Who knows? Sure thing. Yeah. Whenever you do get that channel rolling, it's in a purple bottle. That's probably what it was, Anthony. I'm in my mind. I'm like, a purple bottle, a purple swan. That's what was going on. Yeah. But have y'all gotten yourself into any new fragrances? Anything funny? Anything new? I have a bunch of stuff coming in. I don't want to spoil everything, but I have my first Atkinson's on the way. I've been looking forward to that fragrance forever. I've been wanting it forever, and I really want to get into that house as well. And Atkinson's and Florists and a lot of these houses, Penhaligons, they just don't get the hype. It's funny to see which houses get the hype and which houses don't. Why did Creed get hyped like it was? And why did Parfums de Marly get hyped like it was? I don't know. Who knows? Nishane's a great house, but they don't really get hyped that much. I mean, they get mentioned, but they don't. And Xerjoff doesn't get as much love as Parfums de Marly. What's going on? The secrets. I don't know. Maybe you know. Has anyone checked out the reviewer Haven Lee Sense? I'll have to check him out too. He does like a vlog type style reviewer. It's very original, interesting. I'll have to check him out too. Um, there's so many people popping in and out. I again, if y'all want to find some new people, check out some of my old fragrances. Not old fragrances, my old videos shouting out people. I think I have 5 of them. I forget, and I've shouted out a lot of people. A lot of people pop in and out. I really, if I remember people or give them shout outs, it's usually if they befriend me in return. I get in people's comment sections. I subscribe. I like, and sometimes people don't get back to me. So if they don't really want to get back to me and be my friend, it's like sometimes I eventually forget people, but I shouldn't. I mean, I should remember who's in the fragrance community and not. But there's a bunch of people who are smaller, or maybe I don't know. We're all different people. So thoughts on Ormond Jane? Ormond Jane's a fantastic, beautiful house, very well done. I feel like I think, I forget if I remember right, but they were one of the first brands, or maybe the first Western brand, to bring oud or use oud in their own fragrances to sell to the Western market. So they have been a very big house. They're outside the fragrance community. They're actually really, really popular. Just like Bogue Perfumery, Bogue, B-O, I think it's G or Q-U-E, is actually fairly popular outside the fragrance community and YouTube. Like Slumber House is very highly regarded as very, very respected. And Tower fragrances, Andy Tower, houses like that. So Ormond Jane is a great house. I would like to see them showcased and talked about a little bit more in the YouTube fragrance community. They have solid performance. They have a lot of offerings that are very well done. They all do have a similar feel, but of course different notes. And I really do like their fragrances. One of these days I'm going to try out their Elixir line, and I definitely I look at the notes, I look at what's going on, and they excite me. Elixir. I think that Montebaco Intensivo is absolutely gorgeous. I have a sample. I was the person who talked about it pretty highly, and I got a bunch of people interested in it. Some people bought it. But one of these days, maybe I'll buy it. There's actually a bunch of flankers that they made of Monte Tobacco because I think it was so popular. I think it's one of their biggest top sellers. And they actually released a bunch of flankers. So, but Ormond Jane's, solid house. If you're a gentleman out there, and if you like things like Green Irish Tweed, a lot of people in the YouTube fragrance community, at least, are absolutely crazy about Green Irish Tweed. You definitely got to give Zizan a chance. Zizan from Ormond Jane. Zizan, I did a review on it. It's a great citrus green kind of fragrance. I don't know if you're still here, Centurion. I don't know if you've tried that fragrance, but I have no doubt, Centurion, that you'd probably love that fragrance. Zizan, great fragrance. Anthony Rodriguez says, which Atkinson's been wanting to try Gin and Tonic and Pirates Reserve. I definitely want to get my nose on both of those, but the one I blind bought, which is always bad, but I got an amazing deal on it. I'll be telling y'all what I got it for in my review. I think I want to keep it a secret, but it's one of the ouds. I'll give y'all that snippet. Hope y'all are excited. It's one of the ouds. Ouds saved the something. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it'll be fun to see if it's really as good as people make it out to be. And I got it for an amazing price. So happy that I got it for such a good price. The Pirates Reserve, I'm really excited about it. And I always really, really wanted it because of the name, and it's supposed to be boozy. But then some people were talking about how it had this really strong, unique, powdery quality about it. And then I got kind of scared off with the fragrance. They kind of scared me away a little bit, but I still want to try that Pirates Reserve. I'm pretty much if I found the right deal and I had enough money, I'd be tempted to just blind buy that sucker because I don't know why, but I want to smell like a pirate and I want a fragrance. It's called Pirates Grand Reserve. You know, somebody asks what you're wearing, and I'm like, I'm wearing Pirates Grand Reserve, and they're like, what? What is that? Parfums de Marley sends free bottles. That's why they're hyped. Is that true? Is that the story? Did they send free bottles to everybody? Well, I'm certainly not on that list. I do think Hobdon and Leighton Exclusive are great. I'd give them a review. I wouldn't hype them. I wouldn't be unethical about it. But hey, what do you have to do to get a bottle? But who knows? It's a funny world, my friends. It's a funny world. So Jack DeVries, yes, true, but a lot of their stuff is actually very good. Let me get back to that comment. What was he saying? Oh yeah, a lot of people do like Parfums de Marley. I can understand why some people like them, but again, it's just like a Ventus. There's lots of other niche fragrances out there. There's plenty of other good fragrances, and I hope that people who are into fragrances are exploring fragrances on their own. It's good to see one of my reviews. It's good to see another fragrance reviewer's opinion. But I hope that you explore fragrances on your own. But I guess we save you time and money because we buy all this stuff and we buy all these samples and so you don't have to. But I hope that you're still trying to find fragrances and perhaps like fragrances outside of the hype. That's one thing that bothers me is when there's hype and people get convinced to buy things. I mean, a lot of the times, the people who buy into the hype, they just want mass appealing scents. So it works out for them. It still makes them happy. But I don't know. If I would have blind bought like Instant Crush by Mansara, I'm not crazy about it. It's a good scent. Nothing's wrong with it. And a lot of people like it. But it's not my vibe. And if I would have, because of a couple fragrance reviewers and some people who said that Amber Fever wasn't a great fragrance by Mansara, if I would have listened to them and never have bought Amber Fever, I would have missed out on a great fragrance. So, everybody's different. Much rather have Amber Fever over Instant Crush personally, any day. So, everybody, brown nosing Ivan turns me off the part from Marley. Brown nosing Ivan. Is Ivan the owner or something? I don't even stay up to date. I don't message owners. It's like sometimes I'll reach out to the companies, but I don't like try to figure out the individual owners and like message the owner. That's crazy. I have been in touch with some of the company's owners, but it's usually smaller companies and the people they just manage everything in their company anyways. But I don't know. Are people sucking up to him? I bet they do, but I don't. I've never messaged Parfums de Marley and asked for anything, so. Fragrance Journey 01's in the house. Hey, my friend, how you doing? How's the fragrance life? What you been getting yourself into? I saw that you were kind of interested in that Black Diamond that I got, so. That's, there's plenty of animalic fragrances. It's probably a little bit more of a wearable one. It's probably not uber exciting for you if you want something absolutely crazy, animalic, but it's still a decent scent. But happy to see you pop in, Fragrance Journey. He definitely knows ouds and doing good. Lowell just ordered Montebaco Intensivo from Harrods. It's on sale. It was cheaper than buying from Ormond Jane USA site and the shipping from the UK. Yeah, Harrods and a lot of these companies are. I don't know if they're going to have any crazy sales once the world gets back to normal, but especially if the world gets back to normal with what's going on with the Rona and everything, if it gets back to normal before Black Friday and Thanksgiving and all that, and everybody's going out and like it's not normal, it's personally or acceptable or it's not a quote unquote law in some places to wear a mask anymore. People are going to go ham, and it's going to be crazy, especially if there's another stimulus check. If we have that trifecta, if we have that combination, we might have the craziest buying situation we've ever had. They throw in a stimulus, the world gets back to normal with with what's been going on, and it'll just be crazy, absolutely crazy. Oud save the queen. Hey, I'm not gonna say which one it is. I'm gonna keep it under wraps, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Parfums de Marly is one of those entry level niche houses that's good to start with. A lot of mass appealing, easy to like offerings. My favorites are Ojon and Hobdon. I like Hobdon too. It almost gets no talk. To me, it's a more exotic, interesting Arabian take on. And I again, that's why sometimes people call Parfums de Marly Clone House, and a lot of these houses I think are taking inspiration from others. I think that Hobdon has a lot of similarities to Tom Ford's, Noir Extreme. I think that there's a lot of similarities, and I do think that it was inspired. But almost nobody talks about that kind of stuff. But even though it's not a terribly original fragrance, I still think it's a good one. And Hobdon and Leighton Exclusive are certainly my favorites for sure. But I agree with you. It's they're definitely more entry level, wearable, and those are good and all. My mostly my biggest complaint is just the price. It's like if you're gonna make fragrances that for, I mean, some of them are original, but a lot of them aren't terribly original. And then I don't know if the quality's really worth that kind of money. That's where my problem is with the price. If they were charging, 200. I mean, I wouldn't really say anything against them, but that's my personal thing with Parfums de Marly. Really, let's be honest. Most fragrance reviewers are worse than the home shopping channel. Home shopping? You mean where like they put on all that like they show you all those jewelry and those and they just it's just like nonstop commercials. Like people are watching commercials for fun, and they have like auctions, and they tell you to call on the phone. Is that what you're talking about? Oh my goodness, that's brutal. I can see what you're saying. Yeah, but when you do get bigger as a fragrance reviewer, it again, y'all know all this. It's like when you have any type of influence in social media or anything, you have a platform, you have a stage, and you have eyes. And again, some people do things casually, some people do things for fun, some people do things for business, and some people, I mean, like me, I mean, if a brand does want to work with me, I'll work with them. But it's funny. It's yeah. It's funny business. It's got to be very transparent. If people are getting, I'm sure they are getting free bottles of Parfums de Marly, or people are getting things for free and they're not being open and transparent about it. That rubs me the wrong way. And if they got paid for it, especially, that's illegal. It's crazy, my friends. It's crazy. Ivan does the marketing for Parfums de Marly, I think, and he's at all those conventions. You see reviewers licking. I've haven't gone into any of those. Maybe I'll be able to go to Scent Explorer. I don't think they're having an actual physical meetup. I think Scent Explorer, if or is that what it's called? I can't even remember right now. The one that Max Forte is leading. I think he was talking about maybe trying to do something online because meeting up in person might be just too risky, or people are too afraid, or and all that. So, and y'all know that the Essence was moved to, I think, about February next year. So Anthony says, laughing. Ultra says, Ben, good day to you. What's your take on Killian Black Phantom, and have you tried um, Dark Knight by Alexandria? The Black Phantom, it's a solid fragrance. It definitely has a beautiful boozy note. Killian's famous for their boozy qualities in their fragrances. They do it very well. Certainly does smell very good at the top. I think Killian Black Phantom is good, but for me personally, again, everybody has a different opinion, and everybody's going to enjoy fragrances differently. But for me personally, the dry down is comes off a little bit inky to me, and I usually don't like inky qualities in my fragrances. So I know a lot of people don't really pick up on that in Dark Phantom, but the vetiver in Dark Black Phantom, does come off as slightly inky. So to me, that's not terribly something that I like the smell of. It's not a bad fragrance. It's pretty fairly well composed. I do think that it could be composed better, but it got a lot of hype because of its name, and because a lot of people don't, if you're If you're just used to designer fragrances and you're not experienced with Killian, or boozy fragrances, Killian hits you with a great boozy smell and then hits you with an intriguing kind of dark quality. Because a lot of, even though Encre Noir is popular, Encre Noir is a little bit daring, and a lot of people in the fragrance community perhaps have never smelled it. So, you get something like that, and people just go crazy for it. And I won't say who it is. I don't even think it's a negative. If somebody really loves a fragrance and wants to talk about it all the time, essentially hype the fragrance. I mean, that's not terrible. More power to them. But there was a fragrance reviewer who did, kind of consistently hype Black Phantom. And hey, I mean, it's all right, but it's not for me. Hopefully, I have tried a lot of the Killian fragrances. The prices scare me away, but I need to try Straight to Heaven. And what's the other one that I need to try? I've tried a lot of them, but was it Gold Night? And I think there's one called like Musk Oud or something like that. But have you tried the Dark Knight by Alexandra? The Alexandra fragrances are decent. I think that they do a fairly good job, and the longevity on them is not bad at all. My, but for a lot of them, I'm not terribly excited about, but they do a solid job. My favorites are Hawaii Volcano and Black Tie Affair. But I've heard that the Anubis Kiss is really good. I do want to really try the Anubis Kiss, but it's just because I'm terribly picky. For me personally, when I can go to the secondhand, not the secondhand, the discounters, the gray market, and when I can find an amazing deal, like I got that Atkinson's fragrance coming. I don't want to tell you all the price because I don't want to spoil it because I'm so happy about it. But I definitely got it for less than 100, and they retail for over 220 plus tax. Once you pay tax, you're probably at 230 or 240 for an Atkinson sometimes out the door full retail. So, you know, it's all up to you. Some people they don't smell a lot of differences in the fragrances, or maybe they're not as picky as I am. But for I don't know. A lot of the times, I'd rather buy the real thing, even though I don't have the money for it right now. I'd rather save up my money. Like Anubis Kiss probably is solid, but I don't know. And I do think really highly of them. I'm not trying to beat up on Alexandria. In the past, I've spoken fairly highly about them, but I think it all depends on the individual. It all depends on you because I don't know. Maybe you're not too overtly picky, and Alexandria does have pretty good quality. They might satisfy you and get pretty close to the original fragrance. And if it satisfies you, and if it gets close enough, and you're saving some money, and you're smelling good, that's what it's all about. So I don't know. Hawaii Volcano, I think, is quite good. To me, what clone houses, and Alexander does a fairly good job of it, but to me, what clone houses are all about is if they're able to give you better longevity out of the fragrance and or better performance or somehow make the composition better, whether the fragrance needs a little bit better projection or better longevity or both. And then they're also able to put a twist on that fragrance and make it a little bit more interesting or even improve the fragrance DNA, even if they're using inferior quality, ingredients, because they're not going to be able to give you the same quality ingredients. It's, for the price, they're just not going to be the same. But again, you are going to get something fairly close. But again, y'all know I talk about the law of diminishing returns. Once you get over, it depends on the fragrance and what notes are being used. But with a lot of fragrances, once you pay over 100, you are getting better quality, but you're just getting less and less in return for your money. So with niche fragrances, it's all about luxury. It's all about connecting with an emotion to those fragrances. Are they better quality? Yes. But how much better quality? Like, what are you paying for that little bit of extra quality? That's really the story. And that's like with anything in life. You pay for a sports car, and it might only be 30% better. I mean, depending on what you get. I mean, hey, Ferraris and all that stuff, they're good. But some cars you might be paying 3 or 4 times the price, but only get 30% extra, better performance. But it just looks nice. Sometimes that's the story behind things. So it's up to you. I don't see Parfums de Marly as a clone house at all. Yeah, I people talk about it and joke about it. There's some of their fragrances that aren't terribly original. I wouldn't say that the whole house is a clone house, but I don't, they have taken inspiration from what's popular, and some people think that's a real negative. I guess I'm wishy washy on that. I do wish that a niche house would be more original, and I want a niche house to be more original. That's why I go to niche. I go to designer to be mass appealing. I don't go to a niche house to be mass appealing. Unless it's they do something very very well, like Profumo Maroma. I could go them for an Italian citrus, and they're going to have an unbelievably good Italian citrus, maybe the best Italian citrus money can buy, and I'll be very satisfied. Even though it's not terribly unique, it's still something that smells classic and beautiful. Parfums de Marly, some of their fragrances do smell similar to others, and they definitely have taken some of them have taken inspiration. Most of them are fairly unique enough that I wouldn't call them clones. I probably would say they're inspired by, just a little bit inspired by, but Parfums de Marly, I mean, hey, if you like them. But I don't think I'll buy any besides the Hobdon and maybe the Leighton exclusive one day. Those are the only two that I would buy. If I had a lady around, hey, maybe Delina. But I all the rest of them, I'm not crazy about them. A lot of people seem to like Percival and those kinds of fragrances, and I'm just like, bah, they don't do much of anything for me. Ultra Super says, I absolutely love most of its fragrances. Definitely, I mean, love what you love. That's what this channel's all about. And, y'all know my opinion, and I'd love to hear your opinions. Yeah, so tell me Parfums de Marly's great, and if you have your opinion that they're original and you feel that they're original, definitely share it with us and completely respect you. That's what my channel's all about: wearing what you love and finding what you love. But I do share my opinions. I do have my personal opinions on things, and especially with these live videos, y'all get to hear a little bit more about them, and that's a part of what this is. That's a part of what these live videos are all about, especially. So, let's see. I never spend more than 160 for Parfums de Marly. Exactly. Like for how the market is right now, I like to buy high end designers or kind of high end fragrances that are not in the niche world for about $40 or $50 on the set. For some reason, I keep wanting to say secondhand market, but it's the gray market, as it's known. Places like Fragrance Net, Fragrance by CA, Max Aroma, Notino, those kinds of places. I find great fragrances, and I like to pay about $40 or $50. Yeah, but you can get 300 odd dollar fragrances, sometimes like Parfums de Marly for 150, 160, and get a good deal. So I definitely feel you there. Gotta buy that Bijan Benny on Facebook. I don't know much about that Bijan Benny. Is it any good? Tell me more about it, my friend. Tell me more. See, I can pick up the original Bijan for men for $13. It's a pretty good cheapie. I'll have to look into that one. Some people are telling me I need to buy Halston Z14, and I almost did it, but then I read some other people, and they were saying that I listened to some other people, and they were telling me that's terribly synthetic, so I don't know who to trust. I don't know if I should buy it or if I shouldn't buy it. Have to disagree with you, brother, regarding Roja. Fragrances are second to none once you try the lot in the line. Yeah, I'll have to try more of them. What's your favorite one, Dean? What's the favorite one that you like? I've tried, was it like Scandal? I've tried a lot of their cologne versions of their popular fragrances, like their Cologne Vetiver, their Dangerous cologne version. The was there was one that was called like Fetish or something. I've tried that. I've tried ones that are kind of, I guess some people are consider really good. I don't know. I tried a lot of the ones that I guess are less expensive and are considered really really good. I don't know. At least I thought that was the ones I was trying. But hey, who knows? I could be wrong. I bet their fragrances that are more expensive are great. I really like Great Britain, and y'all know that I love Great Britain from Roja. But I don't know. I'd have to be sitting on an awful lot of money to be willing to pay $1,000 for a fragrance, guys. I like it. I really do like, Great Britain, but it cost $1,000. It's good, but I don't I don't think it's that good of quality. But it's definitely good. It's solid. Let's see here. Um, True, wearing what you like is a notion that's not arguable. Exactly. It's all about our personal opinions. It's all about us coming together. It's all about us sharing that our passion for fragrance and loving and enjoying fragrances as a community. We all wear fragrances for different reasons. We're all motivated to wear fragrances for different reasons. Some people might wear fragrances to be attractive. Again, y'all know this. I've talked about it a number of times, but you might wear a fragrance for the ladies. You might wear a fragrance for yourself, for the art, for the whole history. You might wear the fragrance for the history of the fragrance. You might wear a fragrance for the memory of the fragrance and the emotions connected to that fragrance. And you might wear a fragrance because maybe you want beast mode, or maybe you just want to get noticed. It's there's a lot of different motivations, but it's yeah, we all definitely are friends. We all come together and enjoy fragrances. So, Bijan Benny is a guy on Facebook who sells legit Parfums de Marly and Initio bottles. Okay, I'll have to see what it's all about. And I picked up the original Bijan for men. He sells. Okay. Does he do pretty good prices though? He must have some pretty good deals and some pretty good steals over there, huh? I have to check him out. Nah, Dean says nah, it's not synthetic at all. Get the Z14. I'll have to get my nose on it. Everybody's been telling me it smells like Italian cypress, and I really like Italian cypress. And I'm kind of skeptical, but maybe it'll be a dream come true if it smells like Italian cypress, and it fills that need, and it feels amazing. I might just have to go for it. I'm kind of excited, but kind of cautious. Dean says buy, but you might really like something in the package that waits till it comes. Musk Oud is amazing. Yeah, I'm excited for that package, man. And I'll definitely be sending a bunch of stuff your way once I get it and I look it over. I'm trying to figure out what you might like, Dean. Maybe I'll have to message you, but you'll have to let me know. Are you looking for something that's like clean and fresh and animalic? I think I got a fragrance that you might like. That's a little bit. It's not an Irish fragrance, but it kind of feels like it kind of could be an Irish fragrance that it's clean and it's fresh and it has a little bit of an interesting oud vibe to it as well. So I think I got that one with your name on it. So Musk Oud is amazing. All Parfums de Marly are under 170. Yeah, on the gray market you can find Parfums de Marly for good prices. Bijan Benny, that's it. It is Bijan Benny. I'll have to check that out. I'll have to look into it. And yeah, there's some good deals out there. It's really funny that some of these people are kind of becoming their own little boutiques. There's a lot of opportunity. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing, huh? I'm just joking. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are doing pretty well for themselves in the fragrance community. Kind of having their almost like their small boutiques being their own little sellers, and I think that's fascinating. There's like we have our own little subculture, we're our own little ecosystem, we're our own little people. Anyways, we're the peoples. Any more thoughts? Any more questions? Have y'all bought anything recently? I feel like the chat's kind of dried up. We've been on here for about an hour, and that's perfectly fine. But yeah, Ben, start your boutique. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. I was talking to somebody, and they were telling me that I should because I don't know if there's a boutique in my state. There might be one in the capital. There might be, but there's no fragrance boutique in the city that I live, and it's actually people travel here from everywhere to go to the mall and go shopping here for our Walmart, and there's no fancy boutiques of anything. We don't have Dior, we don't have Chanel, we don't have anything like that, and I kind of want to bring fragrance to these people, but we don't really have a fragrance culture around here, so maybe. Maybe I'll have to do something like that. We'll see. I think I'm going to start my soap company first. I'm interested. Hopefully, y'all be enthusiastic about that. And before I get into fragrance, but I know that y'all want the fragrance. I know that y'all want the juice. Have you smelled Bijan? I don't think I've smelled Bijan. I remember years ago when I dive into fragrance all the time. It was one of those nights, like a night like this, a Saturday night or something, or Saturday evening, and I was just going through Fragrantica for hours and hours and looking at everything. And I remember if it's the same bottle that I remember, it was like a yellow juice and it was like a circle with a hole in the middle. Bichon. That's what I remember. I could be wrong. I could be mixing things up. But what can I say? What can I say? Thoughts? Let me see. Thoughts on Atelier d'Ors? I haven't really tried those. I want to. They look very luxurious. I think those are the ones with the gold flecks in the bottles, if I remember right. I've heard very good things about them for the most part. I've heard most people speak pretty highly of them. I think that they're worth checking out. From what I hear, they sound pretty darn good. They are expensive. They are pricey, but they might be worth it to you. It all's up to you. Maybe a decant site. I actually tried to start selling some decants off eBay, but the only sell like I ever got, somebody tried to cheat me. They said what was it? They got it and it was delivered. It had tracking, but I forgot what they said. They didn't say it wasn't authentic. They said it like wasn't what they wanted or something, and it was purely authentic Versace Pour Homme, and it was filled to the top. And they tried to get a refund from me, and I fought them. I eventually won and got my money back, but I only made like $1 in profit or $1.50 for that decant, and it's like I have to fight somebody to get my money back, and I did, and because I got the it's like I made $1.50 and I had to fight for it. I don't know. It's too much stress. You got the juice? Oh, we all got the juice, man. We got all the juice. You got so much juice, we don't even know what to do with it. Got so much juice, man. So much juice. Anyways, um, I don't even know what to say, guys. Any new brands on your radars? Any new brands that I need to check out? I know that I explore new brands and I try new brands, but I certainly don't know of all of them. There's lots of new brands out there. I try to stay up to date on the indie fragrances, and I have more to share. I have so much stuff to share with y'all, and but I know that I don't know of everything. I haven't tried everything. I don't know if I'll ever get to try everything. But let me know. Is there anything that I should try that y'all think I should try? Do I need to know that I do need to know? Anyways, guys, any thoughts? I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. If y'all don't have any thoughts, but because it's pretty hot out here, it's pretty sweating, and I need to take it easy. I need to have a good. Just need to take it easy. Find a movie, watch a movie, and just take it easy, my friends. Just take it easy. Let's see. Thought I heard Killian was going to release another boozy frag this year. Hear anything? Honestly, I have no idea. I don't have any of the inside knowledge. I did have some of the inside knowledge with a certain brand one time, but I don't know. I think I was kind of told or asserted that I shouldn't tell people about it before it was actually released, and even if yeah, so, but I don't really have anything to do with that brand in particular. It was really funny how that happened. It's And then they didn't even work with me. I thought they were going to send me some samples of this company. I thought they were going to send me a bunch of samples for free, and I was going to be like the first person to showcase them. I have one of the samples which I got from somebody else, and if I do review it, I would be the first person to review it. But it's a funny world. It's really funny. Are these brands so overwhelming? I'm losing interest. Total overload. Yeah, some people, it's too much to keep up with, and for some people, it's exciting. I like finding new brands. I find it very exciting to learn about new fragrances, to try new fragrances, and it's exciting to have so many options and to remember so many things and to try to memorize so many things. To me, that's what makes fragrance so exciting, and to me, that's truly is what's special about fragrance is that there's so much creativity and so many beautiful things out there. But I understand where it's overwhelming, especially money wise, just to afford the samples, guys. Like I did the math. I think if you went to Lucky Scent, and they don't even have everything. They don't have discontinued fragrances or especially older vintage stuff. And Lucky Scent doesn't even carry all the niche out there in the world, especially from some of these foreign countries. And and niche companies that choose to only sell directly through their website and stuff. But you'd have to spend like a crazy amount, like thousands of dollars, just to get samples of all these niche fragrances from Lucky Scents. So it's it's a lot of time and money and effort, but it's a joy. It's fun. Maybe one of these days I've tried everything on Lucky Scent. Every single fragrance I've tried at Lucky Scent. Maybe I'll get there one day. Joe Martinez says, "Hey Ben, do clone houses make their own fragrances or do they dilute the real juice?" Clone houses do not dilute the juice. That's not cloning. That's like fraud. I don't know what the word is for that, but that's definitely not what a clone house does. Clone houses, what most of them, a lot of, I don't want to say most, what some of them do is called essentially reverse engineering. You can ship in a fragrance to a laboratory, and they can essentially tell you the formula essentially of what's in that fragrance, and that you know there's companies that are set up to do this kind of stuff, and you can send in a fragrance to them, and they can use even tell you what aroma chemicals can be used to imitate or replace those the notes that are in these chemicals. Some of these companies are using essentially almost like copyrighted aroma chemicals that the clone houses can't use. That's why a lot of the clones don't smell exactly the same to a Ventus when eventually was actually good in my opinion, 2016 or older. But there's that was just an example because people know Aventus. But no, they don't dilute them. A lot of them just reverse engineer them and make something very similar with cheaper ingredients. Some clone companies actually buy mass market concentration like Chinese. There are some companies who sell like oils or fragrance oil concentrates from like China and places, and they just produce clones essentially, kind of like cheaper smelling clones in massive bulk, and they just like repackage it. And I've smelled some of those companies, and most of the time you're just getting ripped off completely. So if they're a decent clone house, like more of the Arabian ones, they do more of their real work. But some of these people who are smelling like, oils or like really affordable, cheap little sprays and whatnot, sometimes they're just kind of rebottling stuff, and yeah, it is pretty ridiculous. So let's see. Ultra Super says, Ben, what's your top five of all time? That's a super hard question. And I've done some videos similar to that, but I probably would say Jubilation 25 is one of them, one of my all-time favorites. Can't live without it. What's another one that comes to mind? Um, I don't know why, but I really do like my 24 Gold Oud edition. I don't know why, but it works for me, and it's really special, and I really really like that fragrance. I guess I tend to lean more towards the gourmands from what I've experienced. So another one is Oud Vanille from Mansara. Really good longevity. Really, really love that fragrance. It works wonders for me. Terre d'Hermes Eau Trace Fresh. Y'all know how much I love that fragrance. Terre d'Hermes Eau Trace Fresh for the win. Y'all know how much I love that one. Super fresh. Kind of a geranium. Beautiful floral qualities. Citrusy, orange, mineral, ice sweet super. A little bit grassy. Really, really good stuff. And another one. I don't know. I'm trying to go over my collection. I don't know if it's something that I might grow to love it even more, or maybe I'll fall out of love with it. But recently, I've really really been loving a fragrance called Oud Unlimited from the House of Amber Oud. Their Arabian house. It has real ambergris, real damask rose, beautiful grapefruit, very very beautiful citruses off the top, and a beautiful musk. And it's just super charming, and it's fairly powerful, and it works wonders for me. So really really love it. Let's see here. Let me catch up with the comments. John Massey says, "All right, I'm gonna head out. Enjoy the rest of the evening, Ben. Social distance and chill. Take it easy, my friend. I hope that you're doing well, and hopefully, we'll be able to get more social here in the future. Be well, my friend. Be safe, and I'll see you. I'll see you, my friend." Bravius, hello, Ben. Hey, happy to see you. Happy that you could pop in. And so Jack says, "It wouldn't surprise me if clone houses send A grade juice to reviewers in the consumer B grade version. I haven't heard of that happening, but if it does happen, please let me know, and I'll be happy to expose them. But I don't think that any of these houses would do that. At least as far as I can tell, because if they want to be in business, if they want to survive, if they want to do well for themselves, they can't do stuff like that because people will expose them, and they won't be around for very long. So I don't think that they do that, but I don't know. It is. I mean, you have every reason to be suspicious, but I don't know of any companies doing that. But let me know if you do, and I'll definitely look into it and maybe expose them. So, evening scent of the day is Ohm Sport Extreme. Really solid fragrance. Was that you earlier who talked about that fragrance? Somebody earlier talked about that fragrance as well. And really solid, big compliment getter. Easy going, pretty nice juice. Can't argue with that one. Joe Martinez says, appreciate your channel, Ben. Oh, I appreciate you, Joe. Thank you for the love. I definitely try my best to do my best. And I'm definitely here for the passion. Again, if y'all know, if I was here for the views, I am certainly not YouTube wise. I am not getting the views as far as YouTube goes, as far as YouTube is concerned. And I am definitely behind. There's a lot of people who started before me, and a lot of people you might think are still smaller than me. They're actually a lot bigger than me now. I won't say who they are, but people who you think that probably put out similar quality to me, or maybe they might even they might not even work as hard as I do. Some of them used to work as hard as I did, get on the grind, put out as much content as I do, but now they don't. And I'm still chucking along, still doing my thing, and they're still bigger than me. So who knows, my friend? I gotta do my thing. I gotta be on my grind, and I gotta feel the passion and be happy for what I'm doing, and that's what it's all about. That's what makes the journey worthwhile. If you're having fun with it, I get that's what really matters. So it looks at some of the reviews of Just Jack. They focus on Tom Ford clones. Apparently, they're not bad. Yeah, I looked at those. Actually, I saw those before JetSense did his video on those, and I was actually considering buying the one that's the dupe of the Tom Ford Noir Extreme. If it has fairly longevity and it smells fairly similar, I think that would be pretty nice to have in the collection. But I maybe one of these days I'll get into them. But I'd rather just save the money and probably buy Hobdon, honestly. Yeah, even though it'd be nice to have a fragrance that's $20 or less that smells similar to Tom Ford's Noir Extreme, I'd just rather buy the Hobdon. Let's see here. Appreciate your channel. Okay, I read that. Guess all roads and fragrance eventually lead to oud. Well, in a way, I suppose when you get into fragrances, and once you get deep into fragrances, one of the most interesting things in the fragrance community or in the fragrance world in general is oud. You don't have to go into oud. You don't have to care about oud. I'm not saying that you should or you have to. I never try to be that way. I hope I've never come across that way. I've never intended to say that you should have to get into oud, but I do think it's exciting. If it's something that interests you, don't be afraid to try some of them, especially the more Western oud fragrances that are more easier to wear and easier to understand. But yeah, if you get deeper into fragrances and you start getting into niche fragrances and stranger notes and more complex fragrances, and oud is certainly a rabbit hole that you can dive into, and you can go pretty deep into that rabbit hole. And there's a lot to explore, and it can be a lot of fun. And some fragrance people go down that rabbit hole, and that's almost all they smell. Oud is about the only thing they want to smell and they want to wear, and they're fascinated by it. And oud is a fascinating thing. There's plenty of people, and when they think fragrance, they think oud. There's people in the Middle East like that, so it's definitely a fascinating thing. At least I think. But don't feel pressured. Don't feel pressured to get into it if you don't want to. So, rumor has it peeps are buying subs on the low. Yeah, that's what I hear. I don't know what is true, what's not true. My live yesterday, I don't want to say who it is, The person has a fantastic channel, a pretty good personality, and all the jazz probably to make them successful. But they started not too long ago, and they're at about 10,000 subs already, with about 60 videos. And I have over 300. I think I have over 360, or about 360 at this point. And they're at 10,000, and they did it in like I don't know, 6 months, maybe a year at most. Definitely less than half the time I've been doing it. And they've done like they've gotten 5 times bigger than me, 5 times as big in half of the time. So there's got to be something going on. Who knows? With some of these people, I don't know if YouTube loves them or not. And some people are playing the game with the top 10 list, and that certainly does work. If I did a top 10 video list every day, if I did a top 10 back to back to back every single day, and I know how to use tags, I use tags. If I did my thumbnails even better, I know how I can do them better, but I don't know if I want to actually pay money to be able to make better thumbnails just for the sake of having better thumbnails. But maybe I should. I don't know. If I did all that, I could do what these guys have done. Especially when you start out your channel doing that. When I started out my channel, I was just being authentic little old Ben and his Benjamin in his little room talking about fragrance. I wasn't doing anything special with editing, and my camera wasn't great, and my lighting wasn't great. And YouTube probably puts me on a score. They probably categorize me as like really low quality content because of that. Because when I first started, hey, I didn't know anything about editing and filming, and I was just doing my honest to goodness thing because I wanted to do it for the heck of it. And but hey, who knows? Let's see here. Let me catch up with the comments. All your favorites have oud in them. Maybe they do. I do like oud, and I do like the richness of oud in my fragrances. But Terre de Hermes doesn't. Outre Fresh doesn't have any oud. And what else did I say? Um, I think I said something else that didn't have oud in it, didn't I? I don't even. I don't even know. Rumor. This says, hey, hey you. I'm probably a little late. Yeah, you're pretty late. I actually thought about ending a little bit earlier. So happy, I guess, that I stayed on. Carly, happy to see you pop back in. It's a little late to the party, but hey, Carly's here. The party doesn't start till you walk in, huh? Happy to see you pop in. How's the fragrance life going for you? Gotten yourself into anything new? Anything exciting? Come on now, Jack Bull. Uh oh goodness. Let me get back to the comments. They're fake ouds like oud wood, lol. Yeah, oud wood has synthetic. It doesn't have much, if any, real oud in it. And but the funny thing is, even synthetic ouds are terribly expensive to create. Synthetic ouds are actually very, very expensive, and that's one reason that even a lot of high-end designer fragrances that you think that are very, very expensive, they might cost $200, $300, and you might be thinking that you're actually getting a lot of actually very special oud. You're actually getting very little to maybe even no actual real oud in that fragrance, because again, a natural oud is worth as much as gold. So 1 mil can cost about $100. So if your fragrance is a 30 or 50 mil bottle, um, a 30 or 50 mil bottle, and you're paying $300 or $400 for that fragrance, you'd be very lucky to get 1 mil of actual real natural oud in that fragrance. It's just the economics of it. And to some people, that's a real negative. But again, with Western oud fragrances, the oud really doesn't come out at that much. It's not that scary. But I don't know. I like a lot of Western oudy fragrances. So Jack, I don't really want to comment on that. But some ladies, if a lot of these ladies, they do reviews for men's fragrances, date night fragrances, and those kinds of things, and you can tell that guys like that kind of content. If an attractive lady is telling them how to smell, they're going to take advice from that lady because they want to be attractive to potentially a lady like that. They don't want to come to me, and I've talked about that before. Sometimes I feel ostracized as a fragrance reviewer because I'm showcasing fragrances for men, and I think that maybe men want to smell like I think like, or how I would want to smell, and maybe but maybe they don't really care about my opinion at all. They'd rather listen to a lady talk about, men's fragrances and what the ladies think that they should wear. And also the ladies are also going to the lady reviewers because they want to hear the ladies opinions on perfumes. They don't want to hear my opinions on perfumes as much. So sometimes I feel a little bit ostracized, and there are a lot of hungry. Well, y'all know the term. I don't want to say it, but it's a very similar word to hungry. Guys who will definitely like that content. I know what you're talking about. I won't say who it is, but there is a fragrance reviewer, a lady fragrance reviewer, and people have talked about it before. And she has a certain a certain video, and she's dressed up almost like a maid in her thumbnail, and it's a terribly popular fragrance video, like a date fragrance for men, and I mean there is some truth to it. So, um, but we do try to be respectful. But ladies, I mean, I guess we both guys and ladies have their own advantages. Polo Supreme Oud is okay, but not strong as I'd hoped. Polo likes to make mainstream, but Supreme Oud is a little too mainstream, and suggestions on starter Oud that are a little stronger. I have smelled a Polo's Supreme Oud. I felt the same way. It was a little bit light, and it also wasn't as potent as I wanted it to be. So I definitely feel that way. One that it's still fairly light, but you might like it. It's Boss Bottled Oud. That's very inoffensive and safe and easy to wear. But if you want more potency, if you want to step up a little bit, I would definitely recommend the 24 Gold Oud Edition. Now, it's not terribly easy to find, but you can certainly buy it off Fragrance by CA. Fragrance by CA has it, and you can get a 50 mil for like 20 odd dollars, and you can get a 100 mil for I think like 45 USD odd dollars. So solid fragrance, and I would definitely go for that one. If you really like vanilla, or if you've liked Oud Bouquet, even if you're a guy, you can like Oud Bouquet and you can rock Oud Bouquet by Lancôme. It is I would say slightly feminine, but guys could pull it off. You might want to go for a clone. It's called Rogba by Latafa. It's pretty vanilla heavy. To me, it smells feminine, but hey, some guys rock what they want to rock, and it's good. I definitely would check that one out. It's solid if you that's your kind of thing. But the 24 Gold Oud Edition, solid. If you want a citrusy wearable oud that's more for the summer, you can sometimes find Chopard's Oud Malaki for an amazing price. I got mine for about $40. It was an outrageous deal. Chopard's Oud Malaki, and it's a very wearable, citrusy, safe oud, and it lasts fairly long as well. So I know this isn't going to pay the bills, but at least I know that we can trust Ben. Yeah, I'm straight to the point. Maybe I'm too honest for my own good. Maybe that's why my channel isn't as successful. Maybe if I was just saying everything is beautiful and everything was good, maybe if I was oohing and ahhing at everything and saying everything was beautiful, everybody would like my content because of like positivity, and I'm complimenting a fragrance that they like. I don't know. Maybe that's how it works. Maybe I need to say everything is beautiful, and everybody will feel supported, and everybody will feel happy. I don't know. I don't know. Does Hobdon have any oud in it? I don't remember it having any oud. If it does, it doesn't smell like it. It doesn't come off as animalic. Or scary, and it doesn't have any oud. But don't get them mixed up. They do. There is a fragrance called Hobdani, which is one of the oud fragrances from Parfums de Marly. It's an exclusive. There's one called Shagya. I think that's how you say it. I really don't. I'm probably saying it wrong. But there's three of them, and that one is animalic. But Hobdon is a completely different fragrance, and is quite nice, I think. So Hobdon does not have oud listed. I don't think it's an oud fragrance. Certainly doesn't smell like it to me at all. Top notes are saffron, Alabama. Mid notes are apple, woody notes, rose, and the bottom notes are ambergris, caramel, and myrrh. Exactly. Yeah, it's a tantalizing, kind of dark, and slightly exotic feeling fragrance. I think it's really really charming and really really good, but it's nice, really. But I think I can detect a little oud on it. Oh, you can? Well, it does smell exotic. It does smell a little bit interesting. Maybe it's the woody notes. Maybe the woody notes maybe feel a little bit oudy like to you, perhaps. But I yeah, it is more exotic. I would definitely would agree with you there. That's for Anthony. Would you love to see some Would love to see some vids on uh, what what you make what you make in your backyard. Uh, what do you mean? What I make in my backyard? Like to see some vids of what you make. Of what what are you talking about? Really? Thanks for that, Anthony. Yes, thank you for helping us, Anthony. That was really really helpful to show all the notes. Moonshine. I'm making the moonshine back here. No, no. Maybe wood chopping wood. No, that's I could make a video on fat wood, which I was joking about or talking about yesterday, and some of y'all gave me a hard time about all that. Like here's a piece of it. It doesn't really have any of the red, so it's not very pretty. But I don't even have the my Bowie's on the other side. I could grab some if y'all want to see some more of that fat wood. I kind of chipped some of it off yesterday and made it look a little bit cleaner and more presentable. But yeah, I'm an outdoors guy. I definitely have a lot of axes. I if I had a lot more land, I would love to manage it. Um, back here and all this. You know, my dad gets sentimental and he tells me that I can't manage all this property and I can't do all this stuff for him. But one of these days, a bunch of these trees need to come down. I'm gonna take them down. Did you ever find that Sasquatch in your woods? Bigfoot? No, no. And y'all keep joking and teasing me. No, there's no Bigfoot. And again, I'm a little bit suspicious, but there's no Bigfoot. And y'all gave me a hard time. Y'all gave me a hard time about that. And y'all telling me about like an orange person one time or something. That was pretty funny. So Bigfoot. But do suspicious things do happen? We're talking about. I saw it on the internet. I am very suspicious though. Weird things do happen, but I mean, I don't really know what they are. One time, there was a big branch over there that actually like was snapped right at the trunk of the tree, fairly low on the tree as well, and it wasn't dead. It was fresh and it was raw. And instead of normally when a tree is like this and the branch breaks, if it was to break normally, and it was a big branch, so it couldn't have flipped. It should have fallen straight down, and the broken part should have been facing away from me. When I went over there to look, it was actually facing the opposite way, and it was this was green wood that was broken from something's weight, and it was flipped opposite of what it should be if it fell normally. So weird stuff does happen, and sometimes y'all hear a clicking noise out here. I don't know what that is. I've tried to figure out what it is, and in these trees, I don't know what it is. There's a really weird clicking noise sometimes in the trees, guys. I'm just kidding. I remember some guys trolling you. They're trolling me, and they're trying to get to me. Ghosts and demons. I don't know, man. Life is crazy. I live fairly close to I don't know a government. I don't even want to know what for personal privacy. I don't even want to know what to say. It's a government something, and sometimes we have lights out here, and I don't know. I've had weird experiences, but I don't know what's crazy and what's not. So what's real? Who knows? Maybe this is all a computer simulation. I'm just a big thinker like that. Area 51. I don't know. One time we went over there, and I'll tell you in a second. But this crazy stuff, the Matrix. Yeah, that's what I'm joking about. Which pill do you take? The red or the blue? You choose, eh? So What? Anyways, let's get back to fragrances if y'all want to. What have y'all been into? Anything new? Anything interesting? Red. What do you mean by red? What you talking about, Anthony? What you talking about? Oh, that's which one you would pick. Yeah, I wouldn't choose to be asleep either. So who knows? Who knows what's really going on? It's hard to figure out until. So what I was going to tell y'all is that one day, I thought there was like a bunch of really weird kind of lights, and y'all are going to make fun of me, but outside. And the next day when I went over there, and we have a sandy area that looks like it's full of sand, and there's actually a bunch of like quarter-shaped holes in the ground, and we don't have anything that could explain it. I had some people actually come out there and look at it, and they said that it was supposedly moles, but the holes didn't go completely in the ground. So why would a creature dig all of these perfectly symmetrical holes in the ground and only go about, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches into the ground, like taking ground samples or something? It was quite odd, and I've never seen anything like it before. It was like 20 holes that were like 5 inches long inside the ground that were all perfectly shaped, about a quarter size. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? And that was right here in the backyard. There's weird stuff out here, man. You never know what's going to happen in the woods. Secretions magnifique, Anthony says. Secretions magnifique. Ariana Grande, Cloud. Yep. That's a lot of people talk really highly about that one as a good alternative to Baccarat Rouge 540. These stories get you 100K subs. Do you think I should start a channel and talk about ghost stories? Is that what y'all are interested in? Even if I wanted to do that, and I don't think I'm that superstitious, but if I did believe in that stuff, I'm more of a skeptic than anything. I don't know if I would want to make a YouTube video about it, because then you talk about that stuff and possibly that the karma, the juju, or whatever, that it comes after you. I don't know. How close is Cloud to Baccarat Rouge 540? Over 90%. I've heard it's pretty close. I've heard it's sweeter. It's probably not the same quality. It's probably slightly, I don't know. I think Baccarat Rouge 540 already feels a little bit feminine, but Cloud probably is a slightly more. If you're a guy and you like it, hey, wear what you want, rock it. But I don't know. From everybody, from what I've heard, from most people say that it sounds like it's pretty darn good. So I don't know. It might work for you. It might just work for you. If you really like Baccarat Rouge 540 and you're on a budget, or you want something to wear daily, and if you already really, really like Baccarat Rouge 540, I mean, it's not going to hurt probably to take the less than $30, probably close to $20, and take that risk on that fragrance. So, let's see. My 6-year-old daughter wears Cloud. Exactly. I mean, I don't want to make comments like that, but that's kind of how I feel about some of these scents. Like, I don't want to beat up on people who wear Creed's Viking. Nothing's wrong with the fragrance. It's actually fairly well composed, but I feel like it definitely has a allspice vibe to it. And I've talked about my opinions of that one, but I try not to assert my opinion onto people. Yeah, Cloud is a fragrance that I think that like a teenage girl would wear, but hey, wear what you want. I don't wear a Baccarat Rouge 540, but I prefer it on a woman. Yeah, I feel the same way. I actually like the X-Straight version better than the regular 540, and I would definitely prefer the Baccarat Rouge 540 X-Straight on the ladies. It's kind of the same fragrance, but it introduces to me a little bit more of like a red velvet. It almost has like a red velvet kind of quality and feeling about the Baccarat Rouge 540 X-Straight. I think the X-Straight's way better, but some people like those airy, transparent type of feeling fragrances. And to me, Baccarat Rouge 540 ultimately feels kind of airy. So, I ran out of Armani Code months ago and found a little 10 ml bottle in the drawer. I forgot how good it is. Armani Code is a solid fragrance. The Profumo is highly rated. It still is a top seller. People are still crazy about it. You got to check that one out. That Armani Code is a solid fragrance for sure. I forgot how good it is. Yep. Sometimes you have to dust off your fragrances. Sometimes you forget which fragrances you have in your collection, and you fall in love with the fragrance that you forgot about. Sometimes you got to revisit the collection. So Cloud makes Cloud makes you smell like marshmallows. Women love it. Hey, if you want to smell delicious, that's always a good thing, eh? If the ladies like how you smell, that's nice. I'd rather smell kind of dark and seductive and maybe chocolatey, and Carly likes that, so. Oh, would you love to try Baccarat Rouge one day? Have you not tried Baccarat Rouge? I think that you would love it, Carly. There's plenty of beautiful, gorgeous fragrances that you need to smell that I've gotten my nose on. You need to try Roses Vanille from Monsara. I bet that you would love that one too. Roses Vanille by Monsara is one of the best womanly fragrances out there, in my opinion. Great stuff. Very beautiful and charming, for sure. I love Armani Code Absolute. Yeah, that one's great. And the Parfumo. I need to get my nose on the Absolute. I know it's been out for a little while, but I've been tempted to blind buy it. I'm trying not to blind buy it. And the Gold Edition, I'm tempted by the Gold. I'm trying not to blind buy it, but I'm really tempted. Can't wait for the fall. Um, Winter, I prefer dark and sweeter scents. Yeah, I like the deeper, darker scents too. I like the richness in scents. I like the complexity and those beauty of those notes. Again, nothing's wrong with citrus, and I enjoy some citrus, but I'm with you. I prefer the coffees, the ouds, the tobaccos, and the deeper, darker stuff. So, Baccarat Rouge 540 smells great on a woman. I definitely agree. And again, I don't want to say that only women should wear it. If a guy's comfortable with wearing it, wear what you love. Always rock what I mean. Wear those fragrances. But for me personally, with Baccarat Rouge 540, I do think it's better on a lady. It's very, very charming on a lady, and it's just smells so good for the ladies. But again, I think the X-Rate's better. But with Baccarat Rouge 540, even though it's a great fragrance for the ladies, I do feel like it's something that I don't know, almost would just suggest to the ladies more for like a summer fragrance, even though it's very, very potent. One or two sprays will do you. I do almost, to me, almost feels more of like I don't know, like a fragrance when you're wearing nice clothes that are kind of fancy, but not like fancy. You're not wearing fancy formal. It just feels a little bit upscale, and something to me probably does a little bit better in the summer, indoor summer maybe. Ronald Japinga says, yeah, I'm picking up Code Absolute gift sets soon. Somehow the gift sets are a lot cheaper than the single bottles. It's all supply and demand. It's a crazy world we live in. If everybody is buying off the bottles and people aren't buying the gift sets, then the gift sets are going to go cheaper to, of course, incentivize you to buy those. It's sometimes you can't buy the gift sets. You can get some shampoo and something nice, like a deodorant or something, and you might only have to pay like $5 or maybe $10 extra at most to get the gift set. And sometimes you can save some money if you find the right gift set. So that's awesome, yeah. Anthony Rodriguez says, I wear Baccarat Rouge 540 X-Straight with no issues. Smells great in the air. Exactly. It might be your skin chemistry improving it a little bit, and you might feel comfortable with it. If you feel comfortable with it, that's what matters. And if you enjoy wearing it, that's what matters. And the thing is, you're confident and you're smelling really good. The ladies are probably going to be all over you because they know that, they love that smell, and it's going to be magic. So, Carly Warley says deeper, darker, manly scents with chocolate notes would be so nice to smell on a man. Moss to a flame. That's definitely what I do, Carly. That's my personality and what I like to wear. And it does seem to work in my experience, though. Like things like Pure Tonka by Mugler, those types of scents, absolutely gorgeous. So my favorite Maison Francis Courtejan is a Grand Soir. That's a really good scent. Definitely will have to try it out. For some reason, that's one of those fragrances that I've wanted to try. I've always wanted to, but I've never got my nose on it. I certainly need to. I certainly have the intention to, but I have yet to get my nose on that beautiful fragrance. But a lot of people say it's an amber fragrance. For some reason, I feel like I am complete, and I feel satisfied with my Oud Malaki, which actually feels and smells kind of ambery to me. So, have you tried any fragrance du bois? Parisian Oud, London Oud, Amber Oud Intense, and Oud Orange Intense are magical, but really pricey. I I might have tried one of them in the past, but I don't remember which one it was. Honestly, my friend, Anthony. I might have tried one, but it's been, and I do need to dive into that house. They are expensive. I've heard really, really good things. I really do want to try them beautiful fragrances. I've heard and seen beautiful things about them. There's a lot of beautiful scents I need to get myself into. But just getting into the samples or the discovery sets of all these fragrances, that cost hundreds of dollars. Edge's Dragon. Whoa, that's a crazy name. Guerlain L'Homme Ideal EDP has a cherry chocolate scent to it. Yeah, and that one's really good. I think I heard Jeremy a while back ago. I think I heard him mention that ladies really like that fragrance as well on a guy. And maybe ladies, maybe if you're confident, maybe you can pull off that fragrance too. I bet lady would smell absolutely scandalous with that one as well. I highly recommend Grand Soir. It's simply gorgeous. Yeah, I've heard really people say really good things about it. Definitely gotta check it out. This says Ronald says, is Ideal EDP discontinued? The Guerlain Ideal Cologne certainly is. I don't know if the rest of them are, but if you really love a fragrance, if you really love it, it's good to get a backup bottle, and it's good to buy sooner than later. If you wait to buy a fragrance, the price is going to creep up on you. And that sometimes that happens to me. There's a fragrance and I've been wanting it forever, and I wait so long that I miss out on maybe the best prices. So if you like that Ideal EDP, some of those are getting hard to get. But again, it's kind of hard to judge which ones are really discontinued right now, because there's a lot of artificial scarcity because of what's going on in the world. Shipping isn't happening as often. The economy is not moving it like it should. So there's a lot of things that are harder to get, or the things are sold out, and maybe they shouldn't be, but it's hard to figure out what what's normal, what's the new normal. Who knows? Yes, it is, Anthony. Yeah, it probably is. If they're willing to discontinue one of them, the rest of them are probably touched too. Cherry chocolate sounds lovely. I bet it does. I might have to get my nose on it. It does sound nice. Don't delay. Buy today. Fragrance junkies. Yes. Don't and buy a backup bottle while you're at it. Anthony says Le Homme Ideal Intense is my fave from the Ideal line. EDP is a close second. Tell me more about that Lo Intense. Tell me more about it. I might have to look into it. I liked the Ideal cologne. It's very well done. Don't get me wrong. It smells great. It's well blended, but it's not terribly unique. But I do think it's a step up, and I think it's much better than things like Yves Saint Laurent Le Homme. I think that that fragrance was essentially a very improved version of Yves Saint Laurent's Le Homme, and I think there are similarities to be said between the two. But let's see here, EDP a close second. Narciso Rodriguez for him might be discontinued. Yeah, a lot of those have been out for a while. They probably have been discontinued, sadly but surely. If it's been around for a little while, it's probably been discontinued. If fragrances, especially in the designer world of things, do tend to get discontinued within about 2 years, if not sooner. So if there's a designer fragrance you love and it's been around for a little while, you might need to check it out. If y'all don't mind, I probably need to end this live, and I'm probably gonna go try to save our local cat from the dogs over there. Probably going to end this live just about now, but it's been a wonderful live. It's been a lot of fun, my friends. I hope that y'all are having a fantastic evening and a great weekend. I hope that y'all stay safe and stay well. And it's been a wonderful weekend. And I hope that y'all stay safe and stay well. It's just come out. It's pretty good. I'm going to see if I heard good things. Maybe the cat won't run away. Maybe we'll see how good the cat will be. See, I like the L'Homme Ideal flankers, more EDT. They're all more, yeah, they're not the strongest lasting, but they all smell pretty good. Yeah, for sure. They stand out more than the original. I like flankers. Some people don't like flankers at all, but I like finding a twist on the original DNA that's better, and that works for me. I really like that about a fragrance. Yeah, gotta heard good things. Gotta catch it. Yeah, check out those fragrances. See if they work for you. Um, see here. Great chat. It was awesome to see you, Carly Warley. It was absolutely awesome to see you pop in. Wonderful, yes, and we're the Chocolate Gang. I can't wait get my hands on IDL Extreme. The added notes of tobacco and plum. I saw since talking about that one too. Really good fragrance. Sounds absolutely gorgeous. I hope to get my nose on that one pretty soon too. Let's see, saving cat, a great cause. Yes, I'm trying to save the cat. Charlie Brown, you popped in at the very end. I gotta go, my friends. Be safe, be well. Have a fantastic weekend. Anthony Extreme is actually closer to the EDT in the scent, but in scent kind of complex, almost niche quality. Yep, I hear you. I gotta go. I gotta try to save this cat. I'll see everybody. Have a good weekend. Be safe, be well, enjoy life, cook some amazing food for me, hang out, everybody, and with your family. And I'll see you next time. Be good, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.